You just finished the longest run of your training cycle. Your legs are tired, your confidence is fragile, and for the next 3 weeks, your training plan is going to ask you to do significantly less than you've been doing for months. And that's exactly when things get dangerous. Not because of what you're running, but because of what's going on in your head. The taper period is the final phase of your marathon training, and it's the most misunderstood one. Most first-time marathon runners treat the taper like a reward, like permission to coast. Or worse, they treat it like a threat, a sign that they're losing fitness, falling behind, or getting soft. But it's neither of those things. The taper is where your training actually becomes a marathon. The first few days are fine. You feel good, rested even. But then something shifts. You start feeling antsy, restless. The miles drop, the intensity drops, and your brain starts asking uncomfortable questions. Have I done enough? Am I losing fitness? Should I be doing more? Your energy levels feel off, not because something is wrong, but because your body isn't burning the energy it's used to burning. Sleep becomes more important than ever, but it doesn't always come easily. You're not as ravenously hungry as you've been for months, but you still need food to fuel properly. Your body is doing serious repair work even when it doesn't feel like it. And underneath all of it, there's the doubt. Quiet at first, then louder. One of my athletes described it perfectly during her first marathon taper. She said she felt like she should be doing more, like she was being lazy, like the work she'd done wasn't enough. And I told her what I tell every runner I coach. That feeling is not a signal to run more. It's a signal that the taper is working. Here's how I think about it. Imagine you're grilling a steak. You keep it over the direct heat for a certain amount of time, and then you pull it off. And here's the thing. You have to trust that it's going to keep cooking, because it will. The heat is already in the meat. Leave it over the flame too long, and by the time it's on the plate, it's overcooked. All that careful work ruined in the final minutes. Your training is the heat. The taper is pulling the steak off the flame, and the marathon is the plate. Your fitness is already built. It's already in your legs. The taper is not the time to add more heat. It's the time to trust that what you've already put in is going to carry you to the finish line. And here's the hardest truth of all. It's too late to improve your fitness. Any extra work you do at this point won't make you stronger for race day. It will only leave you more depleted when you get there. I learned this the hard way. A few years ago, 3 weeks before a marathon that I'd trained 6 months for, I ran 2 of the best races of my life, a 53-minute 10K and my only sub-2-hour half marathon on back-to-back days. I got the confirmation that I was desperate for, proof that my fitness was real, that the work had paid off. And then a couple weeks later, I ran my marathon 30 minutes slower than my goal. Because I'd already spent what I needed for race day trying to prove I had it rather than letting the taper do its work. I arrived at the starting line depleted because I had burned the very thing I'd spent 6 months building trying to confirm it existed. I've made an entire video about that experience if you want the full story. I'll link it below. But the lesson is simple. Fitness and freshness are 2 different things, and on marathon day, you need both. So what do you actually do during the taper? You keep moving, but you do less of it and at lower intensity. Shorter runs, easier effort. You protect your sleep like it's your job. You keep eating well even when you're not as hungry because your body is using that fuel to repair and store. And when the doubt gets loud, when every instinct tells you to go prove yourself, you find another outlet. One of my athletes was so antsy during her taper that we reached a compromise and she spent some time riding her bike. Similar movement, less intensity. You get creative when you have to. You stay patient, you trust the process. As I'm recording this, I'm 1 week out from running the London Marathon. My last long run is behind me. I have a few short runs left and then that's it. The work is done. And yes, the doubt is still there. It's always there. I don't know exactly what's going to happen when I cross the starting line. I don't know if race day conditions will cooperate or if my Achilles will behave or if everything I've built over these months will show up when I need it most. But I know this. I've done the work. The heat is in the meat. All I can do now is trust it. If this is your first marathon taper, welcome to the hardest part of training that you probably didn't see coming. You're not alone in the doubt. Every one of us goes through it. Trust the process, get to the starting line fresh, and I'll see you on the other side.